Hi, in this physionic extract, I'd like to briefly discuss how fasting or fasting mimicking dieting can have a potential negative impact on our lifespan and health span.
Learn Your Body, a science-based education.
So this is all based off of a massive Nature paper that I dissected in 4 different videos, going figure by figure, trying to figure out how fasting has an impact on yeast models, mouse models, as well as in humans. And this particular information comes from more of yeast models and mouse models, so if that translates to humans, we don't know. But presumably, if it did, this is essentially how we can interpret it. So fasting seems to have a positive impact on lifespan up to a point, but after that point, it seems to have a massive, significant detrimental impact on continuing lifespan. So overall average lifespan tends to increase with fasting if you implement extended fasting, meaning several days at a time, but if you do that after a certain age, it seems to have a substantial detriment to your health, meaning that once you get up to a particular point, your chances of dying actually increase quite substantially. Again, if we were to translate this information that we get from these 2 other models into human models, which we can't necessarily do without the actual data, but just thinking about it, just looking at what we have so far, that would imply that somebody around the age of 75, 80 years old, if they were to implement a fast, they would have to be really cautious about that. And I'm not talking about intermittent fasting. I'm not talking about like an 18-6 lean gains intermittent fast. I'm talking more along the lines of 3, 4, 5 days of just water fasting, or even consuming incredibly low amounts of calories. That seems to really do in our physiology. It seems to put so much undue stress on our physiology that that leads to potentially a precipitous drop in our health, leading to potentially death. So something to consider. Certainly, if you'd like to check out the paper itself, I will have that linked so that you can investigate for yourself. You can also check out that particular video where I dissect the information and kind of go through that interpretation, because the interpretation is based off of a mouse model in that particular situation, because the mice up to 26.5 months had great outcomes from fast, and then after that they had this precipitous drop. So and if you translate that based off of like Jackson Labs, which is where a lot of people get their mice, they essentially have a rough estimate of what that translates to humans, and that's around that 75 to 80 years of age. So anything beyond that, then fasting, again, if this were to translate, then that would mean that fasting would have a detriment to our health from that point on. So something to consider. Again, check out the paper for yourself, interpret it yourself, and certainly check out the video and let me know your interpretation of how you would think about this research, if you would buy into it at all in the first place. Okay, with that said, I hope I have the pleasure of speaking with you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. See ya.